My mom asked me to host family holidays after Dad died, so I was shocked when my brother called me just the landlord, not real family. Thanksgiving was always Dad's holiday. He carved the turkey with that ridiculous paper crown on his head, told the same corny jokes every year, saved the wishbone for me and my brother Liam, like we were still kids fighting over who got to make a wish. After he died, suddenly, quietly in his sleep, Mom looked at me across the funeral luncheon table and said, "You'll host next year, won't you, Clara? It should stay in the family." I said yes, not because I wanted to, but because someone had to keep the table warm. That was 5 years ago. Since then, I've cooked the 22-pound turkey, made Aunt Ruth's cranberry relish from memory, hung the same garland over the fireplace, and set Dad's chair empty, not as a shrine, but as a quiet hello. My house became the place where cousins reconnect, where Mom naps after too much wine, where Liam's kids chase each other through the halls like ghosts of our own childhood. I never charged anyone, never asked for help beyond bring a side. I just showed up early, exhausted, heartful, because this table mattered, until last Thanksgiving. I was refilling the gravy boat when I heard it. Liam, laughing with Uncle Frank near the wine rack. "Yeah, Clara's great about letting us use the place. She's basically the landlord now, keeps the lights on, you know." Uncle Frank chuckled. "Generous of her." Liam said, shrugging. "She doesn't have much else going on. No husband, no kids. This is her thing." My hands froze. The gravy spoon clattered into the bowl. I didn't confront him then. Didn't cry. I just finished serving, smiled through toasts, and hugged everyone goodbye like nothing happened. But that night, after the last guest left, I sat at the empty table, the one I had scrubbed, polished, and set with our grandmother's china, and stared at Dad's chair. Just the landlord. As if love was a transaction. As if keeping this family together for 5 years was just property management. The next morning, Mom called. "Liam says you seemed off yesterday." "He called me the landlord," I said flatly. "Oh, honey, he didn't mean it like that." "Then how did he mean it?" "He's just protective of the family name. You know how he gets. I've hosted every holiday since Dad died. I've held you when you cried. I've driven 3 hours to pick up his kids when he missed pickups. And I'm just the landlord?" Silence. Then softly, "He loves you, Clara? But does he see me?" She didn't answer. Later, I walked through the house, the one I bought with my own savings, paid off while Liam bounced between apartments. The kitchen where I taught his daughter to roll pie dough. The porch where Dad proposed to Mom. The guest room where Mom stays every winter because her condo feels too quiet. This isn't just a house. It's our living room of memory. And Liam reduced it to a rental. That afternoon, I found a photo album from last Christmas. Flipped to a page, all of us around the tree, laughing. Liam had tagged it online with "Family tradition at Mom and Dad's place." Except it wasn't their place. It was mine. And he'd erased me from the story entirely. I closed the album, wondering how many times I'd been invisible in my own home. 2 weeks later, Liam texted, "Can we do Christmas here again? Kids love it." I almost said yes, out of habit, out of hope. But then I saw the comment he'd left on a cousin's post. "Real family keeps the legacy alive. The rest just play house." And for the first time, I realized, if I kept saying yes, I'd disappear completely. I didn't reply to Liam's text right away. For 3 days, I let it sit unread in my notifications. Like if I ignored it long enough, the question might dissolve. But it didn't. It just grew heavier. Because saying yes meant another month of planning, cooking, cleaning, and holding space for a family that saw me as staff. Saying no meant breaking a 5-year tradition and confirming every unspoken fear that I was selfish, difficult, too sensitive. I called Mom instead. "Liam asked about Christmas," I said. "Oh, good," she said brightly. "I already told everyone you'd host. The kids are so excited." "You told them before I even answered?" "Well, it's always been here. Where else would we go?" "Your place? Liam's? A restaurant?" She sighed like I was being unreasonable. "Honey, your house is the holiday home. It's what your father would have wanted." But Dad never saw me as the help. He saw me as his daughter, the one who remembered how he liked his coffee, black, 2 sugars, who danced with him in the kitchen when Mom wasn't looking, who held his hand in the hospital the night before he died. Liam never saw any of that. To him, I was just the woman who kept the thermostat at 70 degrees and stocked his favorite beer. That afternoon, I drove to the grocery store, the same one where I buy 12 pounds of potatoes every November. As I walked past the holiday display, I overheard 2 women talking. "She hosts every year," one said. "Must be nice having that big house." "Yeah," the other replied, "but doesn't she live alone?" "Kinda sad, really." I kept walking. Didn't correct them. Because that's the thing about being invisible. You stop expecting to be seen. When I got home, I found an old voicemail from Dad, saved on my cloud drive. just him laughing, "Clarabelle, don't let your brother steal all the stuffing again. Save me a plate." I played it 3 times, then deleted it. Not out of anger, but because hearing his voice made the loss sharper and the betrayal deeper. That night, I made a list. Reasons to say yes. Mom will be heartbroken. The kids expect it. It's tradition. Reasons to say no. I'm tired of being thanked like a caterer. My home is treated like a venue, not a heart. I deserve to be in the family photo, not just the one who takes it. The next morning, I texted Liam back, "I can't host this year, but I hope you find a place that feels like home." His reply came instantly. "What do you mean? Where else would we go? Mom's? Yours? A rental? You're being dramatic. It's just dinner. Just dinner." As if 5 years of showing up while grieving, while working full-time, while watching him take credit for keeping Dad's memory alive was nothing more than setting a table. I didn't argue. Just said, "It's not just dinner to me, and if it's not to you either, then find somewhere that honors that." He didn't reply. 2 days later, Mom called, voice trembling. "Liam says you're punishing us." "I'm not punishing anyone," I said gently. "I'm just asking to be seen as family, not staff." "You are family," she insisted. "Then why does Liam get to decide what that means?" Silence. Then softly, "He's your brother, and I'm your daughter." But even as I said it, I knew. Blood doesn't guarantee belonging. Only respect does. And mine had been spent like loose change. Christmas Eve arrived, and my house was silent. No laughter, no clinking glasses, no kids racing down the hall. I sat alone by the tree sipping tea when my doorbell rang. It was Liam's youngest, 8 years old, holding a crumpled drawing. "Dad said I couldn't come," she whispered, "but I missed you." And behind her, parked down the street, was Liam's car, engine running, headlights on, as if he couldn't bear to step onto the property of the sister he'd erased. I knelt on the porch so I was eye level with Maya, Liam's youngest, named after our grandmother, the one who taught us to bake pies. Her cheeks were red from the cold, her mittens mismatched, and in her hands, a folded piece of construction paper, edges frayed like she'd carried it for days. "He said I couldn't come," she whispered, glancing back at the idling car. "But I packed my pajamas anyway." I didn't look toward the street, didn't want to give Liam the satisfaction of seeing me react. Instead, I opened the door wider. "Come in, Bug. You're freezing." She stepped inside, eyes wide as she took in the quiet house, the unlit tree, the empty stockings, the silence where carols should have played. "It's so still," she said. "Yeah," I said softly. "It is." I made her hot cocoa, extra marshmallows, just how she liked it. And we sat at the kitchen table, the same one where she'd spilled grape juice last Easter and cried because she thought I'd be mad. I told her then, "This table's been stained before. It still holds us." Now she traced a finger over that same spot. "Dad says you don't want us here anymore." "I want you," I said. "Always. But I can't keep being the place where everyone gathers while pretending I'm not part of the family." She nodded slowly like she understood more than she let on. Then she handed me the drawing. It showed a big house with a Christmas tree in the window. Around it, stick figures. Mom, Liam, his wife, his 2 kids, and me, standing just outside the front door, holding a tray of cookies. Above my head, in careful cursive, "Aunt Clara. She makes it feel like home." My throat tightened. "You drew this?" "Yeah, Dad said I shouldn't bring it." "Said you don't count this year." "Why not?" "Because you said no." I looked at her, really looked. At the hope in her eyes, the fear that she'd done something wrong by coming. "Listen to me," I said gently. "Saying no to hosting doesn't mean saying no to you. Ever." She hugged me then, small arms tight around my neck. "I missed your laugh." We stayed up late that night, built a blanket fort in the living room, watched Home Alone on my old laptop. She fell asleep curled against me, thumb tucked under her chin like when she was 3. At midnight, I carried her to the guest room, the one with the blue quilt Mom stitched for her birth. As I tucked her in, headlights swept across the ceiling. Liam hadn't left. He'd been waiting, watching. I stepped onto the porch. He rolled down his window but didn't get out. "You couldn't even knock?" I asked. "I didn't think you'd let me in." "Then why bring her?" She wouldn't stop crying. "Said she dreamed about your gingerbread cookies." He paused. "She thinks you abandoned us." "No," I said quietly. "You told her that." He looked away. I didn't know what else to do. Mom's place is too small. My in-laws are visiting. There's nowhere else." "So you used your daughter as a peace offering?" "I brought her because she asked," he said, voice cracking. "And maybe because I missed you too." The words hung between us, fragile as tinsel. For the first time in years, he wasn't performing, just hurting. I glanced back at the house. Maya's shoes by the door, her coat draped over the chair, the half-finished puzzle on the coffee table. "You can stay," I said. but not because I'm the landlord. Because you're my brother, and she's my niece, and this is still our home, not just mine to lend out. He nodded, eyes glistening. Okay. But as he walked past me into the house, I noticed something. He didn't thank me. He just came in, like he belonged. And for once, that felt like enough. Christmas morning, Maya woke me before dawn, whispering, "Can we make Dad's favorite pancakes?" But when Liam shuffled into the kitchen, he froze at the sight of the recipe card, our mother's handwriting, stained with butter, titled, "For My Children." And for the first time, he asked the question I'd waited 5 years to hear. "Do you think Dad knew how much you kept us together?" Maya tugged my sleeve before sunrise, eyes wide with that Christmas morning magic only kids carry. "Can we make Dad's favorite pancakes?" I smiled. "The ones with extra blueberries?" "Yes, the messy ones." We tiptoed into the kitchen, careful not to wake Liam, who'd fallen asleep on the couch in his coat. I pulled out the old recipe box, the one Mom gave me when I moved out, and found the card, "Saturday pancakes for my children," in her looping cursive, stained with butter and coffee rings. Maya climbed onto a stool and watched as I mixed the batter. "Dad says you always made them better than him." "Did he?" "He said you remembered how Grandpa liked them crispy." I almost dropped the whisk. Liam hadn't mentioned Dad's father in years, not since the funeral where he'd refused to speak during the eulogy. As the first pancake sizzled, Liam appeared in the doorway, hair messy, eyes soft with sleep. He leaned against the frame, watching us. Then he saw the recipe card on the counter. He walked over slowly, like it might vanish if he moved too fast. Traced a finger over Mom's handwriting. "I forgot she wrote that," he said quietly. "She wrote it for both of us," I said. He nodded, throat working. Do you think Dad knew how much you kept us together after he died?" The question hit like snow, soft but heavy enough to bend branches. "I don't know," I said honestly, "but I hope so." He picked up the spatula, flipped a pancake with surprising care. "I told everyone this house was Mom and Dad's place because it hurt less. If I pretended they were still here, maybe I wouldn't feel so lost." "So you erased me instead?" "No," he said, voice breaking. "I just didn't know how to miss him and see you. It felt like choosing." Maya slid off her stool and hugged his leg. "You don't have to choose. Aunt Clara says family isn't a pie. You don't run out." Liam picked her up, held her close. "When did you get so wise?" "When I stopped believing you didn't love me," she said simply. We ate breakfast at the big table, just the three of us. Sunlight streaming through the windows, syrup sticky on our fingers. No guests. No performance. Just us remembering how to be siblings again. Later, while Maya built a Lego castle in the living room, Liam helped me wash dishes. "I'm sorry," he said, scrubbing a plate too hard. "For calling you the landlord. For acting like your love was just maintenance." "It wasn't just the words," I said. "It was that you never noticed what I was giving. You saw the clean floors, not the nights I cried while mopping them." He turned off the water. "I see it now." "Good," I said. "Because I'm not stopping. But I won't be invisible anymore." He nodded. Then hesitantly, "Can we still come next year?" "Only if you help cook." He laughed, a real laugh, the kind Dad used to mimic. "Deal." That afternoon, as he packed up their things, I handed him the recipe card. "Keep it." He stared at it. "But it's yours." "It's ours," I said. "Just like this house." He tucked it into his coat pocket like it was sacred. But as they got into the car, Maya rolled down the window. "Next year, can we hang your ornament first?" "The star?" I asked. She nodded. "Because you're the one who keeps the tree standing." I waved until their taillights disappeared. Then I went inside, sat at the quiet table, and let myself cry. Not from sadness, but relief. For the first time in 5 years, I hadn't just hosted family. I'd been part of it. 2 weeks later, a package arrived with no return address. Just Liam's handwriting on the label. Inside, a framed photo from last Christmas, the one he'd posted online with the caption, "Family Tradition at Mom and Dad's Place." But he'd carefully cut out the background, leaving only the 6 of us around the table. On the back, he'd written, "Our home, our heart, L." And beneath it, in Maya's scrawl, "You count, always." But when I showed it to Mom, she frowned and said, "He shouldn't have done that. People will talk." And just like that, the old wound opened again. Not from Liam this time, but from the woman who was supposed to protect me most. The framed photo sat on my kitchen counter for 3 days before I showed it to Mom. I wanted to believe things had changed, that Liam's gesture meant the whole family finally saw me as more than just the woman who kept the china clean. But when I handed her the frame during her Tuesday visit, she didn't smile. Didn't tear up. She just frowned, tracing the edge with her thumb like it was slightly out of place. "He shouldn't have done that," she said. "Why not?" "People will talk. You know how Aunt Carol is. She'll say he's rewriting history. That the house was always meant to go to him. My stomach dropped. This isn't about the house, Mom. It's about belonging. She set the frame down carefully like it might break. Of course you belong, Clara. But Liam, he carries your father's name. There are expectations. Since when did love come with a surname requirement? She looked away, stirring her tea long after the sugar dissolved. You know how it is in our family. The boys keep the legacy, the girls support it. I stared at her, at the woman who'd held my hand through college rejections, who'd stayed up with me during heartbreaks, who'd whispered, "You're my brave one," the night Dad died. And now she was quoting tradition like it excused erasure. Did Dad feel that way? I asked quietly. She hesitated. He loved you both equally, but he left the house to me. Because you were stable, she said quickly. Not because you mattered more. The words landed like ice. Not because you mattered more. As if stability wasn't its own kind of love. As if showing up every holiday while grieving wasn't devotion. As if keeping this family from scattering wasn't its own legacy. I didn't argue. Just took the photo back and hung it in the hallway, right beside the old family portrait where Dad had squeezed my shoulder and whispered, "You're the glue, Clara Belle." That night, I called Liam. "Mom thinks you shouldn't have sent the photo," I said. He sighed. She said the same to me. Told me not to stir things up. And what did you say? I told her the only thing being stirred up is the truth. His voice softened. She's scared, Clara. Scared of changing the story she's told herself for 50 years. Then maybe it's time we tell a new one. We hung up, but his words stayed with me. Because Mom wasn't evil. She was trapped. In roles, in expectations, in the quiet belief that daughters serve while sons inherit. The next morning, Maya called. "Dad says Grandma's sad." "Why?" "Because she thinks you're mad at her." "I'm not mad," I said. "I'm just tired of being loved conditionally." Maya was quiet for a moment. Then, "Grandma still sets your place at her table, even when you don't come." That surprised me. "She does?" "Yeah, blue napkin, the one you like. And she puts your favorite spoon there." I closed my eyes. Maybe love wasn't all or nothing. Maybe it lived in the gaps, between outdated beliefs and small, stubborn acts of care. Later, I drove to Mom's condo, found her watering her geraniums, back turned. "I brought pie," I said. She turned, eyes wary. "You didn't have to." "I know." I set the box on her patio table. "But I wanted to." She opened it, apple crumble, Dad's favorite. Her hands trembled as she lifted a slice. We ate in silence for a while. Then she said, "I'm sorry I made you feel like you had to earn your place." "You didn't say it outright," I replied. "But you let others say it for you." She nodded, tears slipping free. "I thought I was protecting Liam, but I forgot to protect you too." I reached across the table, took her hand. "It's not too late to fix it." She squeezed back. "Will you host Easter?" I almost said yes. But then I remembered the weight of 5 Thanksgivings, 5 Christmases, 5 years of invisible labor. "No," I said gently, "but I'll help you host it at your place if you want." Her eyes widened. "Here? Why not? You've got the table, and I've got the recipes." For the first time in years, she smiled. A real one, soft and hopeful. "Okay." And just like that, the legacy shifted. Not with a fight, but with an invitation. Easter morning, as I arranged lilies on Mom's dining table, the one she hadn't used in 10 years, Liam walked in carrying a box labeled Dad's Old Stuff. Inside, a dusty journal, its pages filled with Dad's handwriting. And on the first page, dated 2 weeks before he died, "If anything happens to me, make sure Clara knows she was never just the helper. She was the heart." But as I read it aloud, Mom turned pale and whispered, "He never showed me that." And I realized some truths aren't hidden. They're just given to the ones who need them most. Liam set the box on Mom's dining table like it might shatter. Dust swirled in the morning light as he lifted the lid and pulled out a worn leather journal. Dad's old field notebook, the one he used to sketch garden plans and jot down bird sightings. "I found it cleaning out his workshop," Liam said, voice hushed. I didn't read it all, but I saw that page. He handed it to me. My hands trembled as I opened it. There, in Dad's familiar scrawl, dated just 13 days before he died. "If anything happens to me, make sure Clara knows she was never just the helper. She was the heart. The one who remembered how Ruth liked her tea, who calmed Tommy's storms, who laughed loudest at my dumb jokes. Liam carries my name, but Clara? She carries my soul." I couldn't speak, just traced the words with my finger as if touching them would make them real. Mom stood frozen by the kitchen doorway, apron tied tight, face pale. "He never showed me that," she whispered. "Maybe he knew you already believed it," I said softly. She shook her head. "No, I thought he leaned on you because I wasn't enough after the kids left, that you were easier." "Easier?" Liam echoed, stunned. "Mom, she ran herself ragged for us. Every holiday, every crisis, every time you cried, she was the one who held you." "I know that now." Mom said, tears falling freely. But back then, I thought love looked like presence. I didn't see that hers was a different kind, quieter, deeper, the kind that holds the whole house together while no one notices the nails. She walked over, gently took the journal from me, and read the entry again. Then she closed it, pressed it to her chest like a prayer. "I'm so sorry, Clara," she said. I let tradition blind me to what was right in front of me. I hugged her, not out of obligation, but relief, because for the first time, she wasn't defending the old story. She was letting it go. That afternoon, we finished setting the Easter table together. Mom polishing silverware, Liam arranging bread rolls, me folding napkins into lilies like Dad used to do. Maya helped place name cards, carefully writing Aunt Clara in glitter pen. At dinner, as we passed dishes and laughed over burnt carrots, Mom raised her glass. "To family," she said, eyes shining. Not the kind that follows rules, but the kind that chooses each other again and again. We clinked glasses, and for once no one called me the landlord. No one erased me. I was just Clara, daughter, sister, aunt. After dessert, Liam pulled me aside. "I've been thinking," he said. "What if we rotate holidays? You host summer, I take fall, Mom does spring. No one carries it all." "It's a start," I said. "But only if you actually cook your own turkey." He grinned. "Deal." Later, as I packed leftovers, Mom handed me the journal. "Keep it." He meant for you to have it. I tucked it under my arm, feeling its weight. Not just paper and ink, but proof. Proof that I'd been seen all along. Walking to my car, Maya ran after me. "Next year, can we read Grandpa's journal together?" "Every page," I promised. She hugged me tight. "You're not just the heart, Aunt Clara. You're the home." I drove home under a sky streaked with pink and gold, the journal on the passenger seat like a quiet companion. For 5 years, I'd hosted holidays hoping to be included. Now I finally was. Not because I earned it, but because they finally opened their eyes. 3 months later, Mom called with unexpected news. She'd decided to sell her condo and move into a smaller place. "It's time," she said. But when I visited to help pack, I found a sealed envelope in Dad's old desk with my name on it and a note in Mom's handwriting. "He left this for you the day he knew he was sick. I wasn't ready to give it to you until now." Inside was a key and a deed. Not to the house I already owned, but to the lakeside cabin where Dad taught us to fish. And beneath it, a single line. "So you always have a place to come home, even when you're the one holding everyone else together." The envelope sat on my kitchen table for 2 days before I opened it. Not out of fear, but because some gifts are too heavy to hold all at once. When I finally did, I found a small brass key tied with faded blue ribbon, and a folded deed to the lakeside cabin Dad bought the year I turned 10. The one where he taught me to skip stones, where Liam caught his first fish, where Mom read us stories under a sky full of stars. Beneath it, in Dad's handwriting, "So you always have a place to come home, even when you're the one holding everyone else together." And below that, in Mom's neat script, "I kept this because I thought you didn't need it. You had your own home. But love isn't about need. It's about belonging. And you belong everywhere in this family, including here." I drove to the cabin that afternoon. It hadn't been used in years. Dust coated the windows. Weeds climbed the porch steps. But inside, everything was just as we'd left it. The fishing poles in the corner, the quilt draped over the couch, the initials C+L carved into the picnic table by clumsy kid hands. I sat on the dock as the sun dipped low, water rippling like memory. For so long, I'd believed love had to be earned through service, through clean tables and perfect pies and silent tears mopped up after everyone left. But Dad knew better. He gave me this place not because I'd done enough, but because I was enough. A week later, I invited them all, Mom, Liam, Maya, even Liam's wife, to spend a weekend at the cabin. No holidays, no expectations. Just us, relearning how to be family without performance. Liam grilled burgers while Maya skipped stones. Mom napped in the hammock, and I sat on the dock with a cup of tea watching them laugh like nothing had ever broken between us. That night, around a crackling fire, Liam handed me a new journal, blank, leather-bound, just like Dad's. "For your legacy," he said. I smiled. "What if I write something embarrassing?" "Then we'll laugh about it at Thanksgiving," he said. "At your table." We stayed up late telling stories, real ones, messy ones, the kind that don't get posted online. And when Maya fell asleep against my shoulder, I carried her inside and tucked her into the same bunk bed she'd slept in as a toddler. On the way out, I paused at the door, carved faintly into the wood frame, almost worn away. Clara's room, heart of the house. Dad must have added it when I wasn't looking. I closed the door softly. Back home, I hung the cabin key on a hook beside my front door, not as an escape, but as a reminder. You don't have to host the whole world to belong. Sometimes you just need one quiet room where you're loved exactly as you are. Now, when holidays come, we share the work. Liam roasts the turkey badly. Mom makes the pies. I set the table, but I also sit at it. And when someone raises a glass, they don't say to the host. They say to Clara. Just my name. No title. No role. Just me. And that's enough. Hope you enjoy the story. Tell in the comments your opinion. And tell which state you are watching. So, in my opinion, after telling this story, I keep thinking about how many women quietly hold families together. Cooking, cleaning, remembering birthdays, absorbing grief, only to be called helpful instead of essential. Real belonging isn't earned through service. It's given freely, simply because you exist. If you've ever felt like the glue but not the heart, hear this. Your presence isn't just appreciated, it's irreplaceable. And you deserve a seat at the table. Not as the one who sets it, but as the one who makes it matter.